It's early morning, the fluorescent lights flickering to life as you work your way down the dim hallway. The custodial cart squeaks softly as you push it behind you, the familiar creaking of the ancient lockers filling the otherwise silent school. Oil and motor exhaust drift in from an open door, one of the maintenance crew working on an air conditioning unit in the gymnasium. Your work gloves are stained dark with years of use, fingerprints embedded into the old leather. As you round the corner toward the main office, Principal White steps out, adjusting his tie. He nods curtly in your direction before stopping, keys jangling in his hand. "Peter," he calls out, waiting for you to draw closer. You move closer to him. "Yes, sir." Principal White regards you with cold, calculating eyes, his fingers tightening around his keys. His tie remains crooked, though he pays it no mind. He adjusts his wire-rimmed glasses before speaking. "Peter, there have been complaints. Again." He sighs, glancing down the hallway as if expecting someone to witness this interaction. "Kids have been throwing food wrappers and empty bottles near the entranceway at night. I don't need to remind you what happens if I can't get a handle on this kind of behavior." He steps closer, lowering his tone. "The police were here last week. Littering's a finable offense, a punishable offense. What do you want me to do, sir? I'll hit him if I need to." White's face darkens. "I want you to do your damn job, Peter. Clean the hallways before people come in. Sweep up the damn trash before it attracts trouble." His voice rises slightly, echoing in the empty corridor. "You think I like waking up to reports of you brawling with students? You think the board likes seeing a man your age getting arrested outside our doors?" He exhales sharply, shoulders sagging. "Just fix this. I don't need the cops showing up again. I don't need the board breathing down my neck about responsibility and proper oversight." He turns away, calling over his shoulder as he walks. "Clean it right, Peter." "Sir, yes, sir." You shout before full-on running to the closest dirty spot you can find. Your footsteps thud against the linoleum as you sprint to the main entrance, where small piles of empty soda bottles and crumpled fast food wrappers lie scattered across the pavement. The streetlights cast a dim glow over the remnants of last night's teenage revelry. The heavy janitorial cart bounces slightly as you push it forward, the squeaking wheels echoing in the early morning stillness. You yank the bag out of the cart with a sharp motion and begin sweeping furiously. Your muscles ache from the sudden burst of exertion, but you don't stop. You're not just cleaning, you're proving something. That you can still move fast when needed. That you can still work hard. You clean harder than anyone's ever cleaned before. The dustpan shakes in your hands as you empty it for the 5th time in as many minutes, the metal scraping against pavement. Sweat beads on your forehead, rolling down your temple as you work. You methodically smash every bottle against the curb, the satisfying crunch echoing across the parking lot. The fast food wrappers get special treatment. You stab at them with the broom bristles, knocking them down and then sweeping with an unnecessary amount of force. A passing car slows. You don't stop. You don't even look up. The headlights flick off as the vehicle moves on. You keep working, relentless in your cleanup. The garbage is vanishing now, packaged evidence of teenage rebellion. You can almost hear Principal White's approval in the rattling of empty cans and the swish of your broom. Soon there's only a single piece of trash remaining, a crumpled paper bag half stuffed with what smells like half-eaten chips. Your grip tightens on the broom as you stare at it. It taunts you, remnants of a forgotten after-school snack, carelessly discarded as if the world owed you that space. You bend down, sweep up the bag with your left hand, and crush it in your fist before tossing it into the nearest trash can. "Ha!" you yell in victorious triumph. Your triumphant laugh bounces off the nearby brick walls of the school. It's not particularly loud, more a huff of satisfaction than an actual laugh, but the sharpness of it cuts through the morning quiet. It catches you off guard, more a reflex of release than a planned declaration. Your hand tightens around the broom handle, knuckles whitening. The bag rustles slightly in the empty can where you threw it, a small reminder of your victory over the nighttime offenders. You stare at it for a moment, breathing heavily. Your t-shirt is damp under the arms now, and you catch yourself grinning. No one else is around to see it. You go sit down in the break room. The break room smells faintly of microwave popcorn and old coffee, the remains of the night crew's last meal still sitting on the counter. You slump into one of the plastic chairs, the back groaning under your weight. Your work-worn hands dangle between your legs as you let out a long, slow breath. The fluorescent lights hum overhead, casting a harsh white glow over the peeling linoleum. You notice the clock above the microwave, 5:17 a.m., early for the regular teachers, late for the maintenance guys. It's the dead time, the quiet time, the kind of silence that never really belongs to anyone. Your hands ache from sweeping so hard. You flex your fingers, feeling the stiffness creep in as the muscles cool from exertion. The tips of your fingers throb where the broom handle digs in, but you don't rub them. Pain from a job well done never bothered you. The refrigerator hums to life as its compressor kicks on. Through the small window above the sink, you can see the first glimmers of true dawn beginning to push back the night sky. A thin line of pale light stretches along the eastern horizon. You lean forward, elbows on your knees, staring at the scratched laminate tabletop. Your breathing settles into a steady rhythm. You're the first person in here today, and that feels right. I fucking did it. I cleaned, you mutter to yourself. Your own voice fills the empty break room. The words are soft, almost inaudible, but they stay in the air. The hum of the refrigerator, the slow ticking of a clock on the far wall. Nothing disrupts the calm satisfaction settling over you. You lean back in the chair, shoulders slumping as the adrenaline from your earlier cleaning spree drains away. The plastic chair creaks again as you shift your weight, your body settling into its familiar routine. A slight metallic taste remains in your mouth, sweat, or maybe the thin layer of dust you breathed in earlier. You don't wipe it away. Instead, you glance at the clock again. Another few minutes before the rest of the cleaning crew starts rolling in, before the maintenance guys, before the teachers, before the students arrive to destroy your work again. Your mind drifts to the look on Principal White's face earlier, the way his shoulders tensed when he spoke, the slight edge to his words. He doesn't care if you get arrested as long as it happens off school property. That pisses you off. That feeling burns like bile in your throat. You tap the table twice with one rough hand, counting off the words you imagine saying if he came into the room right now. That was my job, you rehearse quietly, and I did it. Your fingers curl slightly, nails digging into your palm as you imagine his reaction. No, not here. Too many years later in the day. You'll save it for the right time, when the cameras aren't running, when no students or teachers are within reach. A slow nod settles on your face as you stare at the scratched tabletop. Let him think he owns this place. This is my school. I am this school, you yell out loud. The shout bounces off the walls, your words cracking slightly as they echo in the confined space. Your chest heaves with the force of it, knuckles still curled against your palm. The refrigerator rattles for a moment as the vibrations from your yell travel through the floor. Dust settles in the still air afterward, as if the room itself isn't quite sure what just happened. You blink hard, staring down at the table. The realization of what you just did sinks in. Not fully, not yet, but it's there. Your throat feels tight, your breathing uneven. The quiet returns, oppressive in its silence, surrounding you like a shroud. Then you laugh. It's not a full laugh at first, just a rough, short chuckle that builds into something louder, something unrestrained. You throw your head back and let it go, shoulders shaking as the sound fills the break room. The noise is strange in your ears, unfamiliar after years of muttered complaints and half-spoken frustration. It shocks you almost as much as it shocks the empty room. You slam both hands on the table, the slap of skin on laminate cracking like gunfire. The sound punches through your laughter, and the two things fuse into something raw, something primal. Your chest heaves, sweat cooling on your forehead as the outburst continues. This isn't just anger or frustration anymore. It's release. The laughter dies down into deep, ragged breaths. You don't move at first. Your hands remain planted on the table, fingers splayed wide, palms pressed firmly against the cheap laminate. The wood grain wavers as your vision blurs slightly. Your face feels hot, flushed with exertion and adrenaline. Then, slowly, you straighten up. Your work-worn hands drop to your lap as you run your tongue over teeth, wiping away some of the saliva that had gathered in your mouth from the outburst. The fluorescent lights still hum overhead. The refrigerator still runs, but something has shifted. You feel lighter, more centered. Not settled exactly, not by a long shot, but less coiled, less ready to explode. You head outside to smoke a cigarette. The door swings shut behind you with a heavy thunk, its dented metal frame protesting the movement. The Florida air outside is already thick with humidity, pressing in around you as you step into the staff parking lot. The smell of warm asphalt and gasoline hangs heavy in the morning air. A distant highway rumbles with the steady hum of early commuters. You dig into your pocket and pull out the crumpled pack of cigarettes. The label is peeling at the edges, stained with moisture from the countless times you've fished them out in damp weather. You tap one free and wedge it between your lips before striking your lighter. The flame catches, flickering for a moment before steadying into a small yellow glow. You inhale sharply, drawing the smoke deep into your lungs as you exhale through your nose. The first drag tastes like bitter comfort, familiar and stale. The second is easier. You lean against the brick wall beside the door, eyes drifting up to the school sign above the entrance. Palm Beach High School. The words glare down at you, backlit by the rising sun. Your cigarette hangs unnoticed in the corner of your mouth as you tilt your head back. This place, the whole damn thing. You run your thumb along the lighter in your pocket, feeling the ridges worn smooth from years of use. They didn't build this place for you. They sure as hell don't respect you in it, but you keep it running. You make it livable, and you make sure, every damn day, that no one can walk into this building without seeing what happens when someone cares enough to clean up the mess left behind. Another drag. The ember glows bright in the dim light of pre-dawn. You inhale the last of it, feeling the acrid smoke fill your lungs, watching the way the morning air makes the smoke curl lazily before disappearing into the air. Your fingers close around the dying ember, squeezing until the heat burns enough to satisfy. You let the butt fall to the ground and crush it under your boot. You push off the wall, flicking the lighter in your pocket again. You idly walk around the school until people start showing up. Your boots scuff against the pavement as you walk, the cigarette butts from the night before crunching underfoot. The morning air is thick with heat already, sweat clinging to your t-shirt as you make a slow circuit of the building. You don't really have a purpose, just letting your mind settle, your breath even out after the outbursts in the break room. The first car pulls into the parking lot at 6:40 a.m. A teacher, probably. You recognize the cheap sedan and the way it parks in the farthest spot away from the main entrance. They always do that, as if distance from the school will make them less obligated to deal with whatever's waiting inside. You pause at the corner of the building, watching as the driver, a woman in her mid-50s with salt and pepper hair, makes a show of gathering her things before stepping out. She spots you immediately, gives a curt nod, and continues toward the staff entrance without slowing down. You recognize the look, acknowledgement without true engagement. She won't say hello unless forced to. 5 minutes later, a second car arrives. A younger man, science teacher maybe, who actually waves as he sees you. "Morning, Pete," he calls. "Good morning, sir. Hope your day goes well," you reply. The younger teacher, a tall, lanky man with close-cropped black hair and a collared shirt a size too big, grins faintly at your greeting. He adjusts his briefcase strap and inclines his head slightly as he passes you. "You too, Pete." His footsteps are quick, purposeful, like he's eager to get inside. The moment stretches just long enough for you to notice how he never actually looks at you while speaking, how his eyes flit past you toward the staff door like he's already mentally preparing for the day ahead. Not rude exactly, just distant. A few more teachers arrive in dribs and drabs, their conversations subdued, movements measured. A couple ask how you're doing. Most don't. You linger in the shadow of the school, watching them navigate the parking lot. Every so often you move to a new spot, sweeping imaginary debris from the ground as a reason to remain outside. The sun climbs higher, baking the asphalt. Your shirt sticks to your back. One of the custodians, an older woman named Evelyn, catches your eye as she shuffles out for her morning smoke. She offers you a pack of mints instead of a cigarette, her lined face cracking into a smile as she tosses one your way. "Gotta quit someday, Pete," she teases, leaning against the brick wall in the same spot you stood earlier. You catch the mint, unwrapping it slowly. "Not today," you mutter back. Evelyn chuckles, inhaling from her cigarette. "Not today," she agrees. She watches the parking lot with you, exhaling smoke through her nose. The quiet between you is comfortable, the kind of silence that comes from years of shared labor. After a moment, she nudges you with her elbow. "You've been doing your usual walkabout this morning?" You shrug, flicking the unopened mint between your fingers. "Just keeping an eye on things." She snorts. You prepare yourself for the wave of unruly and disgusting students that are about to embark upon your sanitary haven. The first student vehicles start trickling in around 6:50, but the real flood doesn't hit until 7:10. You stand near the entrance, hands clasped behind your back, watching as they pour out of cars and buses like some disgusting tide of poorly dressed chaos. The air fills with the stench of cheap cologne and Axe body spray, mixed with sweat and the distant waft of fast food leftovers. Kids stumble from their parents' vehicles, dragging overnight bags or holding phones up like crutches. Then it starts. Gum wrappers tossed haphazardly to the pavement. "Hey, you little fucker! Littering is a crime!" You shout at the top of your lungs at the first kid who drops a gum wrapper. Your voice slams into the morning air like a sudden thunderclap, causing nearby students to jump and scramble back like startled rabbits. The kid you called out, a gangly freshman with acne and cheap sneakers, freezes mid-stride, his face contorting in shock. The half-crumbled gum wrapper dangles from his limp fingers, forgotten. For a long second, the entire entranceway falls silent. Nearby students gawk, some openly laughing, while others shuffle away with uncertain expressions. Even the teachers manning the doors glance back, one, a middle-aged woman with a clipboard, cocking an eyebrow at your outburst. "Don't you dare," you warn him, eyes squinted, broom in a stance of combat readiness. The kid freezes, his whole body tensing like a cornered animal. His fingers still clutch the wrapper, but now his arm is shaking. His breath comes fast and shallow, his gaze darting between you and the ground as if calculating the chances of just bolting. His acne-ridden face flushes red, his lips pressing together in a thin line. The students around him scatter like startled birds. Their laughter dies away, replaced by whispers and nervous titters. The teacher at the door hesitates for a fraction of a second before stepping forward, clipboard tucked under her arm. "Pete," she says, speaking in a measured tone, "we're not going to do this here. Oh, I know we're not, because this little motherfucker isn't about to litter on my beautiful campus. He's going to put that piece of trash in an appropriate waste receptacle, and there won't be an issue. Isn't that right, kid?" Your words slice through the already tense atmosphere. The kid, now visibly shaking, clears his throat. "Yeah," he mutters so softly you almost don't hear him. He looks around desperately, searching for an escape route, but every student near him has created space, their expressions locked in a bizarre combination of fear and entertainment. You don't move the broom, but your grip tightens just enough that the wood creaks slightly. It's a signal, an unspoken threat. The kid swallows hard, finally bending down and scooping up the wrapper with the tip of his finger as if it might burn him. He walks past you stiffly, fumbling to stuff it into a nearby bin. His entire body looks like a live wire, ready to snap and run at the first sign of safety. You watch him intently, arms crossed now, as he straightens up with an awkward nod that looks more like a spasm. The teacher who stepped forward earlier, and Miss Clark, you recognize now, lets out a quiet sigh. Pete, she says again, quieter this time, almost warning. You give her a look that silences her. You don't owe her an explanation. Not here, not now. Turning your attention back to the kid, you gesture sharply toward the school entrance with your chin. Get inside and stay out of my way today. The boy nods rapidly, pushing past the door with an almost desperate energy. Miss Clark watches him go before glancing back at you. Her face holds that unreadable look teachers wear when they're balancing authority with exhaustion. We should talk, she says finally. Not a demand, not an order, an observation. You don't respond, just turn away and begin methodically sweeping the area with long, deliberate strokes. Behind you, students shuffle past carefully, giving you a wide berth. You hear their whispers, their half-suppressed giggles, but none of them come too close. There's nothing to talk about. Justice was served today. The world is at peace. Miss Clark exhales through her nose, eyes narrowing as she studies your profile. Her fingers tap lightly against her clipboard, the sound almost lost beneath the murmur of students flowing past. That's not how this works, Pete. Your grip on the broom handle tightens imperceptibly. You don't look at her, just keep sweeping with slow, steady movements. The dirt and debris kick up in controlled arcs, every motion precise, deliberate. Each stroke of the broom a punctuation to the conversation. She moves closer, lowering her voice. What happens when that kid tells his parents what just happened or goes crying to the principal? You can hear the undercurrent of concern, not quite exasperation. He may do whatever he chooses, but the war that I am on the front lines of every day, the war against unsanitary conditions, cannot be compromised. I will not lose this war. I will not give up a single inch to this clearly inferior enemy. I will come out the victor. I will end their tyrannical reign of disgustion, or I will die trying. Miss Clark's lips press into a thin line. Her fingers tighten around the clipboard, knuckles going pale as she watches you sweep with mechanical precision. The students who have overheard, largely seniors hanging around the entrance, loitering before first period, stifle their snickers, though a few exchange knowing looks. A couple even retreat further inside, as if your words might turn the whole damn place into a combat zone. Pete, she says slowly, measured, like she's speaking to someone on the verge of losing control, you don't win against kids with a broom. Your grip doesn't falter. I will win. Not only the battle, I will win the whole damn war, mark my words. Miss Clark's lips part slightly as she studies your face. Something shifts in her posture, a momentary recognition of the absolute certainty in your tone. Her fingers flex around the clipboard, the plastic creaking softly under the pressure. Around you, the morning air is thick with humidity, the usual smells of cheap aftershave and body spray mingling with the faint metallic tang of the broom. The world around you has gone quiet again, watching, waiting for what you'll do next. You're not in the military, Pete. Her words are softer now, almost gentle. You don't have to be in the military to both recognize and fight for a righteous cause. I won't let these littering scum win, not matter the cost to myself. Miss Clark's face twitches almost imperceptibly. Something crosses it, something she quickly tries to mask, but you catch it anyway. Annoyance, frustration, maybe even a hint of admiration. She tilts her head slightly as if reassessing you in this new light. No, she agrees after a beat, and you notice something almost dangerous in the way she speaks now. You don't have to be in the military, but you do need to realize that your war is taking place in a school, and at some point you might end up fighting the wrong kind of battle. She pauses, eyes flicking to the students now, pretending not to listen, but clearly hanging on every word. You're fighting the battle of sanitation. You're fighting the battle of clear grounds. You're fighting the battle of an approved property value for your fine academic establishment. You're fighting the battle that you have been recruited to fight, no matter the troubles that it bestows upon you. You will not falter. You will not give. You will not break. You will not lose. Miss Clark doesn't react immediately. She just stands there watching you as you sweep, your broom a weapon as much as a tool. Her fingers loosen on her clipboard, one hand coming up to rub the bridge of her nose like she's suddenly dealing with a migraine. When she speaks, she sounds tired but resigned. "That's a very Peter way of looking at it," she mutters. "You keep sweeping." The broom catches a stray paper bag near the curb and drags it toward the trash can with a gentle shove of your foot. You don't know if she's being sarcastic or not. You don't much care. What matters is that she doesn't argue anymore. "Miss Clark, you may not agree with me, but when you see a clean campus and a student body full of hygienically capable young adults, you'll be thankful for my sacrifice." Miss Clark gives a short, dry chuckle. It's not a laugh. More like the sound of someone who's been asked to entertain an argument they know they won't win. She tucks the clipboard under her arm and folds her arms across her chest, eyes flicking across the pristine entranceway you've just swept clean. "Thankful," she echoes, testing the word like it's foreign to her. "That's good word for it." You watch her carefully, noting how her gaze lingers on the immaculate walkway before sliding back to you. There's something complicated in her face now. Approval, amusement, something that hovers between fondness and exasperation. She leans slightly against the doorframe, relaxing just a fraction. "If I'm honest, Pete, you're not the worst advocate for keeping this place clean. I've seen some of the other students." She trails off, shaking her head. You nod slowly, dragging the broom across an invisible spot just to show how thorough you can be. The early morning bustle around you has started to settle. Students are trudging toward their first period classrooms, books thudding against lockers. A few loners linger outside the doors, chewing on whatever excuse they need to postpone getting inside for a few more minutes. "So," Miss Clark says finally, pushing off the doorframe and straightening her shirt, "since you're such a dedicated soldier in the war of cleanliness, does that mean you'd be willing to help out with something?" You pause in your sweeping, one eyebrow lifting slightly. You weren't expecting a request from her. Miss Clark is normally one of the quieter teachers, not exactly administrative, but not far off either. Her face remains passive, but something in her eyes suggests this is more than just a simple favor. "What do you need, ma'am?" you ask. She hesitates, glancing toward the school office before turning back. "Well," she says, "the custodial budget got cut again this semester. Less supplies, less maintenance funds." She gestures vaguely at the building. "And there's been some." She hesitates. "Damage. Nothing major, but it's getting worse. Kids ripping posters off walls, kicking around chairs, that sort of thing. Maintenance can't keep up." You narrow your eyes slightly, considering this is another front, another battle within your war. Not ideal, but a battlefield you know how to navigate. A chance to impose order. I can keep up. No matter the amount of heartache, the amount of sleepless nights, the amount of tears and blood shed, I will win on this front as well. You have nothing to worry about, ma'am. I will ensure your hygienic safety." Miss Clark exhales slowly, shaking her head but not in a way that suggests frustration, more like reluctant admiration. "I didn't ask you to sacrifice yourself," he says, voice tinged with something between amusement and concern. "Just a little extra effort, maybe come in an hour earlier, keep an eye on some of the common trouble spots." She glances at the office again before focusing on you. "And don't get yourself arrested. The school board would have a fit if they found out we were asking the janitor to stay after hours unsupervised. Your fingers tighten around the broom handle. An hour earlier. Trouble spots. Rules being bent to accommodate what needs to be done. This is good. I will do whatever the combat mission needs to meet our war's end goals. Don't you worry about that." Miss Clark studies you for a long moment. Her lips press together, then she shakes her head again, softer this time. Not in disbelief, but in what almost looks like reluctant acceptance. She's not arguing. She's just letting it be. "All right, Pete," she finally says, "just be careful and be quiet about it." A pause. "And maybe don't call it a combat mission around the students." You nod sharply, satisfaction curling at the edge of your lips. You already know what needs to be done. The new strategy is forming in your mind. A pincer movement, defending the problematic areas while also going on a full frontal assault against the students to ensure this stops. Oh, but it is. and they will soon learn that this war of attrition is pointless, and that their resources are insufficient to win, and they will retreat. Miss Clark lets out a low breath, half laughter, half something like resigned tolerance. She shakes her head again, but there's no real fight left in it. Maybe she realizes there's no point arguing with you, or maybe deep down she respects what you're doing, even if she wouldn't admit it out loud. "I hope so, Pete," she says, and there's something almost sad in the way she says it, like she's giving you permission to believe in something no one else does. Then she shrugs, adjusting her clipboard under her arm. "Anyway, just keep it quiet, keep it smart, and don't get in trouble. I am an expert at hearts and minds, ma'am. Don't you worry about me, just worry about the sanitary excellence these school grounds should maintain." Miss Clark rubs her forehead with one hand. You can't tell if she's trying to suppress a smile or just physically holding back her sigh. "Hearts and minds," he echoes, voice a touch dry. "Right." She looks up at you then, studying your face with something that isn't quite amusement, but something close to it. "Just try to remember that an expert isn't a real thing, Pete." You don't answer immediately. You just keep sweeping, your movements deliberate and efficient. The broom glides over the concrete walkway, sending a small cloud of dust into the air before collecting it neatly in the bristles. The war of cleanliness is vast, but you are winning.